When we take the land, they must know we want all of our land, including the taha that comes with the land. It belongs to us. It's ours.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa here on the Indaba Africa channel, part of the Indaba Broadcasting Network. Well, the economic freedom fighters launched their election campaign in the Western Cape province on Thursday, the 21st of October, 2021, for the upcoming municipal elections in South Africa, just a matter of days away now, on the 1st of November. Hoping to incite the crowd to get them whipped up and promising them housing and homes and electricity, things in which he'll be largely unable to deliver, especially given the fact in the 2016 elections for the economic freedom fighters in Stellenbosch, 43 seats on the city council. The DA took 30 seats. The ANC took 8 seats. The EFF managed just 2 seats in the 2016 elections. That means that in order for the EFF to take charge of this 43-seat municipality, they're going to have 22 seats. 22 seats. That means they have to gain 20 seats. Take them from the ANC or the DA. The only party of any note that they could take them from is the DA. That isn't going to happen in Stellenbosch, ladies and gentlemen. It simply is not. Utter nonsense, simple race hatred and race hustling going on here in Stellenbosch where they launched their campaign. A dangerous and hateful fool, if there ever was one. Julius Malema, the so-called commander-in-chief of the cowardly rabble-rousers who flee from water cannons at Brackenfell, display their bravery by smashing concrete rubbish bins and ripping down signs in Afrikaans in Senegal. Who was at it again, this time on the campaign trail, spewing racial hatred in Stellenbosch, in front of a tepid crowd that could barely be bothered to manage any cheer of any sort.
And when we take over South Africa, expropriation of land without compensation is going to start here.
As you listen to his video just a moment ago, the recording of Julius Malema at Stellenbosch, trying to get the crowd excited about their campaign from the economic freedom fighters in the Western Cape, a place where they have virtually no support. He said, when we take their land, is this an admission that the land belongs to lawful owners? Since you admitted, Julius Malema, that it is their land? Is that what you're saying? Wow, finally an admission from a Bantu South African admitting that the land belongs to someone and not himself. Interesting. Interesting. Well, look at that. Julius Malema admits that it is their land. And they're going to take it and not compensate people for it. You see the lovely vineyards behind me? The Dutch Cape architecture built? None of that existed. None of that was there in 1652. The only thing there at the time were some cattle herders from the Khoi and some San Bushmen going about their business, hunting, gathering, and herding. That was it. No structures. No Bantu South Africans were there. Certainly not Julius Malema's ancestors. As Jefferson Airplane, who became Starship, said, we built this city.
We built this city. We built this city.
Well, Stellenbosch was built by those who settled in the Cape and those who mixed with those who settled in the Western Cape, not by Julius Malema's ancestors, who only arrived in South Africa, crossing the Limpopo River 1,500, 1,600 years ago, and taking over a millennia before they got down to this part of South Africa. But he said to the crowd, we want all of our land. Well, your land is in Cameroon, Julius, not South Africa, if you want to play this silly little game about colonization and settlement.
Because this is where they started stealing South Africa. They arrived here and took our land. If we want to correct it, we must take our land from here, going up the north.
By the way, who is they? Who is they? And who is we? Your ancestors are not from Stellenbosch, not even remotely so. The ancestors of the people who live here were there 50,000 years ago, or those with European descent, mixed European descent, 350 years ago. Your ancestors from the Bantu migration only arrived there afterwards, about 350 years before Julius Malema rocked up in the Western Cape. It belongs to us. It's ours. How so? If anything, the Khoikhoi and the San peoples have claims to this land here. Certainly not the Bantu peoples. This is where they started stealing South Africa. What are you talking about? This is the Rainbow Nation. All ethnic groups are represented equally in South Africa. So what are you talking about, Julius Malema? They started stealing. Who stole what? You talk about the Bantu chasing the Khoi and San into the Kalahari, into the Karoo. Is that what you're talking about?
We must make sure that the land benefits our people. The people of Kayamandi.
Notwithstanding the close relationship between the Xhosa people and the Khoikhoi, we've seen what the Bantu people have done to the ancestors or to the descendants of the Khoikhoi and the San and the Coloreds, who stem in no small measure from that group. Actually, it isn't where they started stealing South Africa, Juju. It's where the place where you started stealing was in the African National Congress Youth League. So let's get the story straight. Folks, the EFF offers nothing of any substance. They have delusional dreams of winning in the Western Cape. They may gain ward seats in many parts of the country, but in the Western Cape, this is a dream. This is a delusion, an absolute delusion. Even with the in-migration, importation of people from the Eastern Cape and from other parts of South Africa, which are suffering to the prosperous Western Cape, they're still not going to do well. As I said, they have to gain 20 seats in a 43-seat council to take the majority. Not going to happen in Stellenbosch. And in Cape Town, situation's even more grim for the EFF. Now, this is the 2016 result. They could improve on it, but the Democratic Alliance has 154 ward council seats won in 2016. The ANC, a distant second, 57 seats. The EFF had just 7 seats in Cape Town. 7 seats. There isn't a snowball's chance in hell that they're going to improve enough to even become the second largest party in Cape Town Metro. Not going to happen. Well, why the endless nonsense? Why isn't Julius Malema ever brought on the carpet? Well, why? He can spew all the racial hatred nonsense he wants because he's a convenient sot. He is a convenient lightning rod for those in the ANC who feel the same way as he does with their race mercantilism and their hatred of minorities, whites, coloreds, and Indians in South Africa. Hey, folks, this is an update. The EFF launches its campaign in the Western Cape, one doomed to failure, a waste of energy on the part of the economic freedom fighters. It may gain them a few thousand votes here and there, but they are not going to sweep to control anywhere in the Western Cape. If they do, it's all over South Africa. Not going to happen. And if it somehow magically happened, it's all over. It's no longer a country. It's just a kleptocracy if the EFF ever gets in charge. Thanks for listening, folks. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. Appreciate your support for the channel. Smash the like button right down there. If you're not a subscriber, why don't you become one? It's not hard. It costs you nothing. Independent, objective analysis on events across Africa with a special focus on Southern and South Africa in particular. Thanks, folks. God bless and be safe out there. If you are a registered voter in South Africa, you have a moral obligation to get off your bum and get out there and vote on the 1st of November. Be sure to vote for anybody other than EFF and the ANC. Cheers.